A person once visited Gautam Buddha for guidance on improving his ability to control his emotions. The person was having trouble controlling his anger and irritation and was looking for a better way to do so. Buddha asked him to sit down and smiled, saying, "I'll tell you a story once. Once upon a time, there was a king who ruled a prosperous country. One day, the king made the decision to visit the neighboring kingdom because he had heard that the king of that kingdom was renowned for his wisdom. When the king arrived, he was greeted with great honor, and the neighboring kingdom's king had prepared a grand feast in his honor. During the feast, the king saw a fly in his soup and became disgusted. He then ordered his servant to bring him another bowl of soup. The neighboring kingdom's king smiled and said, "Your Majesty, allow me to give you a piece of advice. It is not the fly that ruined your mood, but your reaction to it. You have the power to control your emotions. Do not let them control you." The king realized the wisdom in these words and returned to his kingdom. From that day on, he began practicing the art of not reacting to situations that would previously trigger his emotions. He found that he was able to maintain his composure in difficult situations and was able to make better decisions. Decisions. The ability to act without reacting is an important lesson for all of us to learn, as we frequently act without thinking through our actions that might have negative consequences. Anger and frustration-fueled reactions to events can strain our bonds with people and impair our capacity for reasoned decision-making. But it's crucial to realize that being silent does not imply that we have to repress our feelings. Emotions are a normal part of being human, and it's crucial to accept them. Rather than acting on impulse, we should take the time to digest our feelings and thoughtfully give birth to them. In another part of the planet, there once lived a young man by the name of Michael was, a highly sensitive individual who frequently responded rashly to things that affected him. He would become enraged and say cruel things, which would spark conflicts and cause wounded emotions. Michael made the decision to take control of his emotions one day. He knew that his impulsive reactions were hurting him more than they were helping, so he wanted to change. He began by practicing mindfulness and meditation, which increased his awareness of his thoughts and feelings. He also began practicing the art of not reacting, which involved taking a step back and taking a few deep breaths whenever he found himself in a situation that would typically make him feel angry. Michael initially struggled to control his emotions, but with practice, he was able to take a step back and respond thoughtfully. Michael's relationships improved as he learned to communicate calmly and thoughtfully, leading to greater bonds with others. Michael was approached by a buddy seeking guidance on a difficult time, and he was feeling very upset. Michael listened to his friend's problems and offered words of comfort and support. His friend thanked him and said, "You always know just what to say. You never get angry or upset." Michael smiled and replied, "It's not that I never feel angry or upset, it's just that I've learned to control my emotions and not let them control me. It's a powerful tool that has helped me improve my relationships and my overall well-being." Michael's friend was impressed and asked him how he learned to control his emotions. Michael shared his experience with mindfulness and the power of not reacting. He encouraged his friend to try it out for himself, and his friend was grateful for the advice. Over time, Michael became known for his calm and thoughtful demeanor. He was able to handle difficult situations with ease, and people admired him for his strength and resilience. He continued to practice mindfulness and the art of not reacting, and he found that it brought him a sense of inner peace and happiness. The power of not reacting is a valuable lesson that we can all learn from. It takes practice and patience, but the rewards are well worth it. By controlling our emotions, we can improve our relationships, make better decisions, and live a more fulfilling life. The moral of the story of the king and Michael teaches us that we have the power to control our emotions. We may not be able to control what happens to us, but we can control how we react to it by practicing mindfulness and the art of not reacting. We can learn to control our emotions and respond in a thoughtful manner. It's a powerful tool that can help us improve our relationships, our well-being, and our overall quality of life. So let us take the time to practice and cultivate this powerful skill, and let it transform our lives for the better. Anger will never disappear so long as thoughts of resentment are cherished in the mind. Anger will disappear just as soon as thoughts of resentment are forgotten. He who holds back rising anger like a rolling chariot. Hear my call, a real driver. Other people are, but holding the reins, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. One who conquers himself is greater than another who conquers 1,000 times 1,000 on the battlefield. Do not be led by your reactions, be led by your actions. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without in a controversy. The instant we feel anger, we have already ceased striving for the truth and have begun striving for ourselves. The mind is everything, what you think you become. You will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. The root of suffering is attachment. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. Letting go gives us freedom. And freedom is the only condition for happiness. If in our heart we still cling to anything, anger, anxiety, or possessions, we cannot be free. Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. Respond, don't react, respond with reason. Not emotion in the end. Only 3 things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. He who experiences the unity of life sees his own self in all beings and all beings in his own self, and looks on everything with an impartial eye. Happiness never decreases by being shared. We are shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. The only way to find true happiness is to let go of your attachment to things and people. The mind is everything. What you think you become. It is a man's own mind, not his enemy or foe, that lures into evil ways. An idea that is developed and put into action is more important than an idea that exists only as an idea. There is no fire like passion. There is no shark like hatred. There is no snare like folly. There is no torrent like greed. What we think we become, all that we are, arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. If you want to fly, you have to give up what weighs you down. If you want to change the world, change yourself first. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. The trouble is, you think you have time. The mind is like water. When it's turbulent, it's difficult to see. When it's calm, everything becomes clear, the tone like a sharp knife. Hills without drawing blood. Do not seek to follow in the footsteps of the wise. Seek what they sought. Purity or impurity depends on oneself. No one can purify another. Let us rise up and be thankful, for if we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little. And if we didn't learn a little, at least we didn't get sick. And if we got sick, at least we didn't die. So let us all be thankful. The only real failure in life is not to be true. To the best one knows, the past is already gone, the future is not yet here. There's only one moment for you to live. To be idle is a short road to death, and to be diligent is a way of life. Foolish people are idle, wise people are diligent. Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule. Whatever a monk keeps pursuing with his thinking and pondering, that becomes the inclination of his awareness. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. The mind is everything, what you think you become. Do not look for a century in anyone except yourself. The only way to do great work is to love what you do, if you haven't found it yet. Keep looking. Don't settle, as with all matters of the heart. You'll know when you find it. The greatest glory in living lies not in